My name is Jason JROCK Houston. You guys are listening to an interview being done tonight for Chaotic Riffs magazine. It's my great pleasure to be talking to pretty boy Floyd guitar player Kristy Majors. How you doing tonight, Kristy?
I'm doing great, thanks, man.
I'm very glad to be talking because at the time I talked to you a little over a year ago, at the time pretty boy Floyd was kind of on hiatus, and there seemed to be like a battle over the name. It seems like that you guys have some gigs coming up, and you and Steve are back together. So I was hoping we could start the interview talking a little bit about how you guys got back together.
Sure. Oh, great. There you go.
Yeah.
You're calling me on my phone. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
All right. Yeah, finish.
I was just asking, last time we talked, pretty boy Floyd at the time was kind of on a hiatus. There seemed to be a battle over the name, and now it seems like you and Steve are back together. So I was wondering if we could start off with talking a little bit how you guys got back together.
Yeah, basically, it's been about 4 years, I think, since me and Steve really chatted.
Okay, yeah.
So it's been quite a while.
Wow.
And, yeah. So, brothers fight.
Yeah.
It's like family members fighting, Then basically we got some offers to play some shows, the Cat Out Live, a couple other things, I turned him down, and, just been avoiding it. Actually, I was pretty fine with just being retired.
But, that's
pretty cool. The shows are pretty cool, and I had a good conversation with Steve, and we decided, okay, what the hell, let's do a couple shows, let's see how things go.
Well, that's great because, I was going to actually ask you about, if that's kind of what led to all this, is the Ricky Rackman's Cat House show coming up in August at Irvine Meadows. I mean, there's never been any kind of a festival like that out here, which I think is a really great show. So do you know anything about, how was it that you guys got initially asked to be part of it? So did Ricky Rackman himself ask you?
No, it's actually Live Nation who's putting on the concert. We got the call from Live Nation through our agent.
Oh, okay. And the other cool thing is you guys got this this Kiss tribute CD. I guess it initially was released back in 2010 as a digital download, and I guess you recently put it out on CD, and I got my hands on it. I just really love it. So can we talk a little bit about the Kiss of Death CD and how, why was you guys decided to put out like an all Kiss tribute?
Oh, great. Good old Hollywood here. Got fire trucks and squad cars coming by in good old Hollywood. Yeah, isn't that great? Basically, I was upgrading my studio and doing messing around with some new toys that I had gotten and stuff. So I was just like playing around, and I was just recording some Kiss songs because I know Kiss songs by heart. So I just started recording and laying down a couple of them and everything. And Steve was like, "That's pretty cool, sing on a couple of them." So we sang on a couple of them, and we just kept on going. And it just turned out to be a cool Kiss cover CD. And
I was going to ask you, how big of an influence was Kiss on you? I mean, obviously you guys put out this album, so that kind of answers that. But I always kind of thought Pretty Boy Floyd kind of had a little bit of a Kiss influence there.
Oh, definitely. Kiss had those big choruses and those anthem rock choruses and everything. Kiss was definitely always an influence for me. They were like the second concert that I saw in Madison Square Garden when I was like 15 years old. So always an influence on me. Always a big fan. Yeah,
you guys, you start the album off with King of a Nighttime World, and you end with Black Diamond, and, there's a huge cross-section. You got Creatures of the Night, Detroit Rock City, Firehouse. One of the songs I love the most is Christine 16. I was noticing that, you play pretty much all the instrumentation. Was that something that was new for you?
No, actually, on all the Pretty Boy Floyd records, I play all the guitar and all the bass, do the background vocals. Not that many people know that, but I've done all of that. The drums were just programmed drum machines. Oh,
okay. And was there one song on here in particular that really stands out to you that you really enjoyed recording?
I love doing like King of the Nighttime World, Creatures of the Night, Black Diamond, like the really obscure ones that people don't really, look forward to hearing that much. Room Service, I thought was a really cool song.
And of course, that's cool. And of course, you guys.
I just picked up some of my favorite songs that I love to Kiss, and then there was a lot left over that we did we want to make it a double CD. So.
Of course, yeah. Something just kind of, to do for fun and to keep the fans, appetite whet, so to speak. And so, let me ask you, have you ever thought about, if you guys stay together, about doing like a show, a show where you perform like a lot of these Kiss tunes, like a special show like that?
Wow, I don't know if we would ever do that. Most of the people that, come to see Free by Floyd, they really just want to hear the first album.
Yeah.
So, you give fans what they want, but, we used to throw in, like, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, at a lot of our shows,
Yeah.
So we've played some of the Kiss songs live.
Okay, and now let me ask you, Kristy, like you said, I guess it's been a little longer since we talked, and I thought a little over 4 years, and in that time you're kind of happy thinking, the band's kind of ran its course. Were you surprised at all, like when you got the offer to do these shows, that just come to find out that there's actually, still a demand for you guys out there?
Am I excited about it?
No. Are you at all surprised, that there's still a demand?
20 years ago, I'd get excited. I don't know. No, I don't know what it's going to be like. It could be fun. It could be a drama fest. I don't know what it could be. Just going to have to come out and see what it's going to be like. I literally have not thought about playing Free by Floyd or doing Free by Floyd music in over 4 years. So
yeah.
We'll see if that. We'll see what happens. The first show. Hopefully it'll be a good one and we'll continue on. But there's definitely not going to be no touring. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. And it's a great gig in the fact that you got bands like Extreme, Tom Keith, or even bands like you guys and Saigon Kick, bands like that who haven't played in many years. So I think there's a little something on this bill for everybody, which I think is going to make it a lot of fun.
It's basically, most of the bands on there, not all of them, most of the bands, we all remember them from the Sunset Strip days, back in the 80s and stuff, so it's pretty cool that somebody's doing something like this, and I hope it translates, because, they do festivals like this in other countries, and, 30,000-50,000 people show up to those festivals, but for some reason in the United States, it just has not caught on.
Yeah, that's kind of my hope with this.
Yeah, hopefully this will be the start,
Yeah, and let me ask you. So, in addition to Steve and you, who do you guys have playing drums and the bass?
We got JK, who's she's been in and out of Pretty Boy Floyd for 12 years.
Okay.
Playing bass. Good friend from mine from New York. So love JK, and then we're using Todd Seaburr on the drums. He's played. He's done at least 25, 30 Pretty Boy Floyd shows.
Wow.
Basically, we picked out the guys who were drama-free.
Yeah. That's what we...
To do these shows and who aren't playing in, 10, 20 other bands. So that's what we picked out, and people that we like, we like to be around, and also who, can really do a good job also live too.
Yeah, and so like right now at this point, you said there's not really any plans for any extensive touring. But let me ask you, if you do these shows and you come to find out there's maybe a little more demand from a band than you think, or you get a good response, and you find that you and Steve are getting along pretty well, is there any chance that you guys might do something down the line as far as even just record another CD or just do sporadic dates around when you get the chance?
Well, actually, it's pretty funny. We're actually, me and Steve started recording a new album, over 4 years ago, and we never finished it. But everything's recorded, all the bass, drums, guitars, and everything. And Steve was just laying down his vocals, and he laid down vocals on like 4 songs.
Yeah.
And we're actually starting up again next week. We're going to start, going to lay down vocals on another song. So hopefully we just keep on continuing going, and we can finally get this new album out to the Floyd fans.
Wow, that's cool. Now let me ask you, you'd worked on that material. You said like the last time, like maybe 4 years ago. What was it like to go to get back in there and start working on that material again? Did it all come back to you right away?
Like I said, it was all recorded over 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It was all, it was all recorded. We haven't, like I said, all the guitars, bass, drums, everything was all done on it.
Oh, okay.
I was just waiting for Steve to finish up his vocals, so, like I said, we finished like 3 songs, and I think we got like another 10 more, to finish. It'll be like a 13-song album.
Oh, wow.
And, we're going to start, next week. Steve's going to come to the studio, and we're going to start singing on the songs, and hopefully we get them all done.
Wow, cool. And now let me ask you, since you put out this Kiss of Death on CD, have the sales gone up any? Because I've seen a lot of great reviews on, for all over the internet, so I think people are loving what they're hearing as far as this goes.
Yeah, as far as sales go, I don't even know, man.
Okay.
I mean, most of the time when you put out a CD nowadays, everybody just, steals it.
Yeah.
It's on like some .ru website or some strange website, and legally downloaded. So it's really, really tough to make money off of record sales nowadays. It's a tough business.
And as far as the Kiss tribute you guys put out, I was curious. Do you know if any of the Kiss guys have heard it, or because I imagine you had to go through their license or anything?
I don't think they've probably heard it. There's been so many Kiss covers.
Yeah.
Kiss albums or anything like that, but the only person that I would really care who enjoyed it would be Ace and Paul.
Yeah.
Those are, I really don't give 2 shits about what Gene says about it. So,
Yeah.
But I still love Peter, but I still love Peter Chris. I still love Ace, and I still love Paul's family stuff.
Oh, wow. And I was curious if all throughout over the years, if you ever crossed paths with any of those guys.
Oh, yeah. I crossed paths with them back in, 1990 when we played the Universal Amphitheater.
Oh, wow.
I remember, I think I had to kick Gene Simmons out of our dressing room. It was pretty funny. He was hitting on all the girls and stuff and everything, and then me and Kerry King, we went up to go ask him for pictures, and he wouldn't take pictures with us. Paul took pictures with us, and he was like super cool. But Gene wouldn't take no pictures, so I told security to escort Mr. fucking Simmons out of the fucking dressing room.
Wow. That's classic. And
then I ran into him again another time when I was representing a swing band, and actually played his birthday party over at Jerry's Deli. And I just went up to him. I'm like, "Do you remember me?" Well, should I remember you? You're just such a dick.
Yeah. Wow. That's fun.
He's such a dick.
Yeah. And so now, in addition to all this Pretty Boy Floyd stuff, you've of course had a pretty nice solo career yourself, as far as putting out quite a collection of solo CDs, and I think it was your last one. You had a really great cover of a Billy Joel song. I think "Only the Good Die Young," and man, that was just one song I really loved. I was kind of curious why you decided to cover that.
Good question. Well, I always loved Billy Joel.
Yeah.
First of all, and then second, my mother used to like say some stuff to me like, "Oh, Christopher, only the good die young," blah blah blah. So I was a really bad kid when I was younger, and I used to do some really bad things, and So anyway, I thought, many times I thought I was going to die, and my mom would just remind me and just keep on saying it to me, "Only the good die young." And so basically, I guess she was telling me I'm not good. So.
And of course, Oh well, it was a great track, I gotta say, and since I've actually had a chance to hear the original by Billy Joel, and let me tell you, you did a great job of covering it. And I was curious, most people all these years have known you as a guitar player for Pretty Boy Floyd, and you've released quite a few solo CDs now. Have you become quite comfortable now in your ability as a lead singer?
I do the best that I can. Obviously, I am not a lead singer, and I'm not a good lead singer. But, I do enough just to get by, and I'm actually recording a new CD that'll hopefully be out in October.
Oh, okay. And so once that comes...
This whole CD, yeah.
Yeah, and so once that, do you have a working title yet, or is that still something you're working on?
You know what? I don't have a working title for it yet. I got all the songs recorded, and I just started laying down the vocals, and I got like 5 songs done, and I just got to finish up the vocals on 6 more songs, And when I listen to it all collectively, I'll come up with the title. Something that strikes me, I don't even know.
And so once that CD comes out, will you be doing any touring behind it?
Yeah.
No.
I am done with touring. I'm too old. I'm too old to tour. I don't do this for. I don't play music as a full-time job. You know, I mean, I love music. I have a passion for music. Everything I do with my life and my other endeavors that I work on all revolve around music. So, yeah.
Okay.
Right now, I'm working on right now I'm in the studio right now, and I'm recording a Puddle of Mud record right now. A new Puddle of Mud record.
Oh.
So,
okay.
So that you just called me when we were in the middle of recording a song over here. So.
Okay. Well. Just a couple more things, and then we'll wrap up. As far as the Puddle of Mud, I imagine you're serving as their record producer.
I am the Alliance Puddle of Mud manager and booking agent.
Oh, okay.
And I have been for almost 2 years now. So,
wow.
We're just trying to, guide Wes on that right path and get him down there, get a new record, get some more singles out on the radio for him, and get him out there touring and playing some shows again.
And so what's that? Yeah. What's that like for you, Kristy? You know, being a guy that's been at this all these years, and then now you're finally at the point where you're able to help, work with these other bands and help them in their career.
Well, the funny thing is, a lot of people don't know it, but I've had my agency and everything for 18 years now, and I've always kind of kept it kind of silent. I've been the low profile of it, and but I've been doing this for a long time, and I think it helps me out a lot because I know what it's like for these artists, who go out on the road and shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there, I've done it, and I can offer great guidance, great advice, and I'm a great problem solver, and I can really put out fires, and I know how to speak to the artist. I mean, give them the attention that they deserve, give them the care that they deserve. A lot of people just don't do that.
And I'd imagine you being a fellow musician, it must help them. A truckload as far as, like you said, you've had the experience, you've been there, you've done that, and you can kind of tell, guide these guys, or at least give them, your piece of advice and say, I've been there, this is what I suggest, do this, don't do this,
But yeah, my main job is, keep them rolling, make money, and give them advice, as best as I possibly can to guide them and correct a good career path, and help them make the right choices for, whether it's just a live show or whether it be an album or whether it be touring, and a lot of it is they just want they want to talk to somebody who's who's their friend and actually cares, not somebody who's just sitting behind a desk in a tie and a suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Who just doesn't give two shits, and I've been there too with William Morris, and I've had an agent that didn't give two shits about me. So
yeah.
So I know what it's like, and I think that being there and doing all that, it really helps me connect and establish a really great bond and a relationship with my artists that I work with.
And as great as it is for you to be working for these guys and be in the position to help them out, and that, does it ever make you kind of think like, why could I do for my band what I'm doing for these guys?
You know what? Could have, should have, would have.
Yeah.
We can always say that. I mean, I'm not bitter about what happened with Pretty Boy Floyd. I'm not like one of the guys that blames the grunge scene or whatever battle scene for ruining my career with Pretty Boy Floyd. I actually like all that music. I'm a music lover. I'm a music fan. I love it all, and I can listen to anything and actually get something good out of it. So
yeah.
I'm not basically. I'm not bitter.
I mean, I love.
I got a good life.
I love to hear that because, again, success means different things to different people. But your band Pretty Boy Floyd at one point was signed to a major label. You guys had some of your videos on MTV. We're sitting here talking today just because you were, in that band at one time, and you have a couple of shows coming up. So, the name Kristy Majors and Pretty Boy Floyd, it still means something, even though you guys aren't, as big as you once were, but the name does still mean something. So there is that to be.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I'm proud of everything that I've done in my life. You know, I have no regrets.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Boys plus Floyd record, that was a really cool record. No big deal that it didn't sell a million copies. A couple million copies. But I'm not mad about it. I had fun. I had a great time. It was a great life experience. It was a dream of mine since I was, 13 years old. And, I'm one of the lucky few that say that, hey, you know what, this is what I wanted to do. I set out to do it, and I've accomplished it. And then I moved on, and I still stayed in the music industry, and I'm doing that, and I'm successful at that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and, I'm enjoying my life as long as, I'm involved with music, and that's my passion, and, I'm blessed.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's what success means. I mean, right there is that you're still in the music business, you're still doing what you love, and we're not sitting here and you're not telling me how you're unemployed and man, it was great back in the day. You're still involved in it, and that's what it's all about, man. Again, you could be sitting here unemployed and oh man, it was great back in the day, man, but I lost everything. But that's not the case, and so again,
no, it's definitely not the case. And I'm doing everything that I can, within my power to keep the rock alive, most all the bands that I represent are all rock bands. I'm fans of all of my bands that I represent. I love all their music, and I'm lucky to be working with some of these people, and it's an honor to be working with them. And keeping the rock alive and booking the tours, booking shows for all these people. It's just it's a great feeling.
And let me ask you, Kristy, what was the point when you made the decision, like, you didn't want to tour anymore? Was it just a matter of, because, you could even go out maybe do, like, maybe 15 shows a year and people would come and see you, but is it just a matter of you kind of done that and you don't really miss it? Or?
No, even back in the days, I got to tell you, living out of a suitcase and, sleeping in the back of a bus, it's not really such a glamorous lifestyle that a lot of people think.
Yeah.
And the ones who did live it glamorously and did spend all their money on, tour buses and hotels and giant road crews, those are the ones who have their money. It's a show part, even though they sold millions of records. But it wasn't a glamorous lifestyle to begin with. It was fun, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It was great. I was really young. I was, 21, 23 years old during that whole time. So back then, I really didn't care about money. I didn't care about really anything. I just wanted to, have a good time playing music, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, touring side of it, busting your ass in a van, driving from show to show, 8 hours.
Yeah.
You can't take a tour bus nowadays. The money's just not there. So it just doesn't appeal to me,
I hear you. And now, being that you're...
I would love to for the fans, because I know the fans want it, but, it's just hard, when you're going on a Tuesday night and you're playing in Salt Lake City and there's literally like 20 people there.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's a little disheartening to walk on stage and there's 20 people there, you're like going, what am I doing this for?
I hear you. And I was curious, being that, except for maybe when you're in the studio, do you still find the time that, that you practice the guitar, or you pretty much just do that when you're in the studio?
I never practiced. Even back in the day. I was never one of those, guitar people.
Yeah.
I cared more about songwriting. I always said I'm kind of like the Nikki Sixx of guitar. I could do it just barely enough just to get by,
Yeah.
So, I never practiced. I never was one of those guys that sit there and do arpeggios and all that kind of stuff. And that was never my thing. The people that I liked were pretty sloppy guitar players. Like Ace Frehley.
Yeah.
Was pretty sloppy. Johnny Thunders was pretty sloppy. Johnny Ramone. Those are the guitar players that I really loved.
And the last thing I wanted to ask you, Kristy, was. You still record from time to time, put out these solo albums. You're working on one as we speak. In regards to these bands that you work with, I was curious, if one of them ever said, "Hey, Kristy, come in the studio. We'd like you to lay guitar down on one of our songs." Is that something you'd consider doing?
No, because I would say all the people that I represent are much better guitar players than me.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to embarrass myself.
Okay, well, I know you're in the middle of something right now, Kristy, so once again, I'd like to thank you for taking time to do this. It's always a great pleasure to talk to you. Before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to say to all your fans listening to this?
Man, thanks, man. I mean, come out and just have a good time, I mean, forget all the bullshit, forget all about all the crap, all the fighting and whatever that you see on the internet or whatever, blah, blah, blah. In the long run, it's all about the music, and just come down and have a good time and, support rock and roll.
Okay, well, once again, Kristy, thanks for doing this. I'll let you get back to work, but you have a good night, and I'll be in touch with you and let you know when the interview goes up.
Great. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.